We're talking about short-term rentals, home sharing, and how that impacts your home insurance.
Good times, guys. So we're seeing a lot.
Great.
Obviously, we're seeing a lot more of this. I think anyone watching this has probably Airbnb somewhere at some time. Especially probably I would think even more with the pandemic. You're like I don't want to go in a hotel with all these other people.
Yeah,
you're more likely to get a house and.
I've had like a 50-50 success ratio with Airbnb. Like 50% of the time I've showed up and been like, this place is the bomb. This is such a great Airbnb. And the other 50% of the time, one of my friends texts me the link. It's like, we're going to stay at this place. I'm like, that looks sick. And we show up and it's just like either they're in a terrible neighborhood or the place is actually falling apart and the pictures were way better than what it actually is. That being said,
I'm 3 for 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's been good every time?
I've had a horseshoe up my ass pretty much my whole life at this point. So I'm doing pretty good with Airbnbs. But,
nice.
But we're getting a lot of clients, asking us about this, renting multifamilies, and they're like, hey, if I move out of here in a year,
100%.
Or they might be living there in one unit and maybe Airbnb in the other unit. So super important to make sure that you're covered properly.
Yep.
And most of the time, if you're just not. You're not if you don't tell your agent.
So let's run through a few quick questions.
Don't
I get insurance automatically through a home sharing platform like Airbnb or VRBO?
Yeah, so that is the good thing. You do have coverage, like if somebody gets hurt on the premises, but without reviewing that in detail, I'm sure it's just like your actual insurance policy, your home insurance, where there's 100 pages and
99 pages are exclusions. Yeah.
So it's definitely best to review it, but it is nice that I consider that more of a Band-Aid. I think it's something that could help you in the event of it, and if you're not covered properly with your home insurance.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, right?
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
but
it's like a Band-Aid, like after you get out of the pool. And it's like, oh boy, it's kind of coming off. So you don't want to it's pretty gross. It sounds pretty gross. But yeah, you don't want to just be relying on that. So it's definitely good to make sure, you might not be eligible with the company you're with anymore. Like that's how substantial these gaps can be.
Totally.
So, does my current home insurance cover Airbnb hosting? I pretty much just said that.
You teed it up for me real nice. The answer is no. No. Most likely no. Your current home insurance does not cover Airbnb hosting. The reason is that home insurance excludes business use, and short-term rental is essentially like you're running a hotel out of your home, and that's business use as opposed to long-term rentals, which is just like providing housing for somebody.
And you think
vacation
from
rentals,
the
short-term rentals.
The insurance company point of view, like, all right, you got,
the risk is so much higher.
Yeah,
the risk is so much higher.
You have random people you've never met just coming into your house for a week. So it's like, you're not probably going to leave it.
Rob Wright, who's now in Florida, great, love Rob Wright, great guy. He was at Movement Mortgage previously. Now he's at Gulf Coast Bank. Rob told me this one time, and he was talking about mortgages, but he said risk and rate equate. That was like the awesome phrase that he used, risk and rate equate. And I use it all the time with insurance now. And it's the same thing when it comes to something like Airbnb hosting. Risk and rate equate. The higher the risk, the higher the rate, and that's how it should be. But when you're writing a home insurance policy for something you're assuming it's just a regular home that's just being occupied by, the people who own it or by long-term tenants, you're not really rating for 50 different people over the course of the entire year coming and going into that property, right? And when I go on vacation, like I'm trying to party, I'm honestly,
party.
I'm usually on vacation. I'm probably having a few drinks. I'm probably having a good time, and I'm just maybe not as safe as I would be on a normal day. I don't know.
Who knows?
Right?
I know the girls won't let us go away together anymore. So
I'm just saying. I'm taking care to be, but I'm just, how do you say it? How do you say
you
it?
just let loose, man.
Yeah, let loose a little bit.
This is the same reason back in my heyday, I worked at Hertz Car Rental. People beat these things up. You don't own it. Like, you don't have any pride in this thing.
Yes.
And like, they'd be like, oh, if you work at Hertz, you can, do like a rent to buy program. And it's like, I would never want a car that was a Hertz rental car because you just got everyone in the like all kinds of walks of life driving this.
It's a rental. floor it. Like, doesn't matter how you drive it. Yeah,
things get beat up. So it's the same thing.
All right, so home insurance doesn't cover Airbnb. Business use
Tune in next time
problem.
to see what John does on vacation. Really. Specific examples.
All right, so if we do want to insure it properly, how do we do that? There's two options. First one is a home sharing endorsement to a regular home or dwelling policy.
So
right?
So you're saying this is always offered then, John, right? I could always have this on?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Only some companies offer it.
Okay.
Yeah, only some companies are going to offer a home sharing endorsement or some sort of short-term rental provisions in your regular home or dwelling policy. Yeah.
And so, guys, I think we're going to, kind of like when marijuana busted on the scene like 5 years ago, it got legalized and everything. It was tough to find markets for it. I mean, people used to come to us all the time. They're like, oh, you have anything for the place? And like,
oh, I thought you meant like people used to come to us trying to buy weed. People always used to come to us looking for pot.
That was on the weekend. That depends what we were on the weekends.
You mean, looking for insurance
yes,
on it, right?
Yeah. I do relate it to that because insurance is, their rates and their eligibilities are based on analytics, which you need past data.
That's right.
Something.
Yeah.
It's like me with
phones.
They need some guinea pigs,
right?
You know, the iPhone. What's up now? The
no,
12,
now you're on 13.
I still
14,
have. I still have the 8. You know, like I'm on.
You're like I'm
an insurance guy.
I'm still gathering data on
Let me gather the data on the new
I'm
stuff.
hearing about my friends how these new phones are working.
Exactly.
Once I come to a good conclusion, I'll start using one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
the same thing goes with insurance and Airbnbs. Yes, you're right. Their actuarial data.
I was coming around to it. I'm like, you were
circling the drain.
What's the similarity between little pot and a little rental?
Yeah, exactly. It's no big deal. The thing is that insurance companies are still figuring out how to accurately charge people for it. So, quick thing on a home sharing endorsement and like, you know, having an Airbnb insured on a regular home or dwelling policy, even if there is some little endorsement, keep in mind an important gap in coverage in that is going to be that the liability coverage that occurs away from your property in that event, right? This is the biggest exclusion that somebody explained to me at an insurance company. It made a ton of sense. So if you properly insure your Airbnb on a regular home or dwelling policy, and one of the tenants or Airbnb hosts or guests gets hurt there or damages their property there or your property, there's going to be coverage there. But there's premises liability coverage, meaning it insures you for that location. But what if the Airbnb guest is staying there on 4th of July weekend and they brought a bunch of fireworks and they go down the beach and they light off fireworks and then the fireworks burns down the neighbor's house? And you could be liable for that because you were the host that allowed that guest.
That can happen.
You only have premises liability.
I've seen.
You don't have have liability all over. So if that situation happens, like you're not covered by this home sharing endorsement type situation. But if you have a commercial insurance policy, that's going to be the
shops,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, so the commercial insurance policy is going to be significantly more expensive. It is. It's probably going to be twice the price of what you would get in a regular policy. But it's a bulletproof way to make sure that you've got the right coverage for what you're looking for. And if you're really serious about investing in properties and using Airbnb to generate income, this is going to be the right way to do it because you are running a business and it's time to treat it like that. You know, you want to be serious about running your business, then run your business using the right insurance too. So that's all I have to say about that. You can get a home sharing endorsement, and this would be for people who just like have a vacation home in, you know, I don't know, Cape Cod. Again, you use it like, I don't know, a couple weekends out of the year and stuff. Like, get
on people like John letting loose on the weekend without proper coverage. You really don't.
Exactly. Right after I buy some pot from Rick,
buy some pot from me. John bottles it up all week. You know, who knows what he's doing? He's probably doing the 4th of July scenario. He just talked about. So.
Yep. 100%.
All right.
That's all we got to talk about that. I said 5 minutes. It's probably been 15, but I had a blast.
15, yeah. You know, it's just, you know, we're having a great time. So
nice.
It's not often I have a mic in front of me. You know, I'm loud enough without it anyways. But.
And this mic is working. No, not really. It's actually just totally disconnected.
Get the headphones going. Yeah. But our friends at Namra, very nice for them to have us here, and we're gonna go have some fun. Probably a couple
drink
2v2 basketball games, maybe, and work up a sweat a little bit.
Have an espresso, and
all right.
Have a great weekend.
Guys, enjoy
and a
the
great
weekend.
Friday, and nice having you.
Protect your assets.